Welcome to this lesson, and in this lesson we will be studying about methods. And methods are basically a block of code that executes as a block and only executes when called. And you can also pass data known as parameters into a method. Methods are used to perform certain actions, and another name that we can use to call methods, they are also called functions. So why do we use methods? We use them whenever we want to reuse code, to define code only once, and also to use it multiple times. And how to create a method? A method must be declared within a class. For instance, it has to be declared within our class, Java tutorial, in our case. And it is defined with the name of the method, followed by parentheses, that is round brackets. And Java provides some predefined methods. For instance, the method that we have been most commonly using, the print line method, is a method that is provided intrinsically by Java. And in this lesson, we are going to be learning how to create our own methods. So let's create a method and find out how we do this. So an example of a method that we have been using from the beginning of the tutorial is our main method, and we are going to use its syntax to create another method. And later on, we are going to be learning about what all these keywords mean. For instance, what public means, what static means, and what void means. We will be learning about that in a later lesson. So let's say public static void. We are going to define a method that computes a sum. So we are going to call our method compute sum. So, and as we have said, we normally define the name of the method. In this case, we have the name of our method is compute sum, followed by the parentheses or the round brackets, and also the curly braces, and within the curly braces, that is where we are going to write our code. So let's write some code to compute some sum for 2 numbers or 3 numbers, and find out how we are able to do this. So we are going to define number 1 int num1 and give it a value 10. We're going to define also num2 and give it a value 20 and assign it a value 20. And we're also going to define a value sum, which is going to hold the summation or the addition of those 2 numbers. And then we are going to output it. So we have an int sum. So let's output it using the internal print line method. System.out println. So we are going to say that the sum is whatever is stored in that variable sum. So whenever our method compute sum is called, it is going to calculate the sum of these 2 numbers and print out whatever that is. So one thing that you need to learn about functions is that our method is that they do not run unless they are called. And what is to run? What is to call a method? Basically, to call a method is to request it to run its code or to execute its statements. So how we call it? Initially, when we assign the tutorial, we say that the main method is where the Java program starts, and so therefore, for us to be able to call this method, we call it by name. And what is the name of our method? Compute sum. So whenever we say compute sum here, that means that we have called it, and therefore it is going to be executed. In case we forget this step or we do not want it to execute, then we do not call it. So remember always that a function or a method only executes whenever it is called. So let's run our program and find out how this works. So we expect it to run to compute for us a sum, and actually it does that. So it tells us that the sum is 30. So basically, this is an introductory lesson to methods or functions, and key takeaways from this lesson is that to define a method, you have to give it a name, followed by the parentheses or the round brackets, and also the curly braces, and within the curly braces is the body of the method. Another important key takeaway from this lesson is that methods only run when they are called. So this is not all about methods, and we are going to be learning about method parameters in the next lesson. Thank you very much. See you in the next lesson.